have their own either manufacturer or supplier. And then another vendor, like for example, shoes. There are a million shoe vendors who may, small vendors who may be making shoes they're willing to pay. So if we allow, Amazon to invest in this kind of thing, essentially Amazon is going to not play fair with all those products that are developed by somebody else. Essentially, they won't get a fair deal, okay? So that's sort of the issue. So what Amazon is doing getting around FDA rules by creating joint ventures with Indian companies such as Cloudtail. Then Cloudtail is then the major seller on the platform, and Amazon basically claims we are basically marketplace model. Okay, so we don't control what goes on in the thing, and then they're just sort of getting away with it. Okay, and I'm sure Flipkart is also doing the same thing. Okay, so but then they actually sell it to companies like Cloudtail. They put a lot of pressure on them, and that's why it's done. Okay, so there's a lot of complaint about this, but people still buy from Amazon only because it's convenient. Okay, so going back, so the law basically says FDI is permitted in the marketplace model of e-commerce, whereas FDI is not permitted in the inventory-based model of e-commerce. And several caveats apply. If you have only one supplier, it's okay, because you're not curtailing competition. Okay, anyway, there are a lot of loopholes and a lot of different, ways in which, you act like a true marketplace model, when in fact you are not. Okay, so that's how they do this. Okay, so we already talked about it. So what happened was in maybe September 2024, the Competition Commission of India, they did lodge several violation complaints by both Amazon and Flipkart. Deep discounting of their own thing, exclusive seller agreement to their own Indian partner, preferential treatment to select sellers. So they made the complaint. I don't know what has resulted. Have they gone to court, or they're settling it with Amazon? And again, I don't know whether the Competition Commission of India it's anything to do with the Indian government, or it's a pseudo-Indian government, or is it simply by vendors? I don't know. I don't know what is their registration status is. Okay. Okay. So is this CCI is a government entity or what is? Huh? Government entity. Okay. Okay. So there are complaints, but again, I don't know whether it's even discussed in the parliament, whether it's gone to court. I don't know, but that's what it stands. Okay. This is as late as September 2024. Maybe they are trying to make sure Amazon, Flipkart take action so that doesn't happen before going to court, but that's where it is now. Okay, so that's where I am. So I will ask you the thing, I will, next we have about 10 minutes. I'll be happy to answer any question. Because we will cover all the tutorial later this afternoon. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. So basically what we have covered is, we have defined what the e-commerce is, what e-business is. We have defined we have illustrated the difference between e-commerce and e-business. We also said what are the areas in which you need laws and regulation. Many of them actually existed even before online commerce. And then, of course, besides online commerce, we have additional laws, regulation, mostly from FBI for processing financial transaction by IT Act, okay, and then of course investment laws. Okay, so basically we have laws, enough laws now. We don't need any more laws. The real issue is how do you make sure these are enforced. So at the end of the day, you want fair competition. The consumers to get the best price and convenience. And how do you get that? I mean, that's sort of at the end of the day, especially in a growing market, you don't want the small mom and pop stores, individual makers of things, they lose out. In other words, if the e-market allows them to get a fair price, then it is fair. Okay, so for example, in the olden days, some broker will go to each village and buy rice and things like this. So he will set the price. Most farmers don't have any choice. But originally, e-commerce was thought, if you don't have the broker, you just go to online, whoever bids for a price, you go for it. Essentially, there's no middleman, so you thought you'll get a fair price. Now, with all the e-commerce, we're sort of going back to that stage. Okay, right? So, the original promise of everything online is you don't need intermediate brokers because they, middlemen screw you, okay? But now, this basically, it's just not, market is still not all that fair, especially when big players are involved. But then again, big players bring all the technology, make this happen, make you trust the system. So there are a lot of advantages to them. But then there are, they are not here simply to be an angel. I mean, they're going to do everything to keep the business to themselves. So that's what you have to do as a consumer. But then again, if you want to start a e-business today, it is a little hard as a platform. You have to be a seller. But then, hopefully some of you will become, a good intermediary and stand up to some of the big companies, okay? But then again, a lot of laws and regulations you follow, and these are the things we talked about. Okay, so we are about 4 minutes ahead. Any question, I'll be happy to answer. Yes. Well, most people use it the same way. But remember, my first paragraph said, e-commerce is only transaction online. So buying and selling. Whereas e-business is everything, like web advertising or operating an inventory management system. You offer the services to other people. You are not transacting anything. Okay, so e-business is anything you do online is e-business, including e-contract. YouTube is e-business, because there's no transaction involved, but most of it's free. Okay, whereas Netflix is more like e-commerce because you pay subscription and they give you the service. So it is a transaction. So it's more of e-business. I'm sorry, more of e-commerce. Okay, so the difference is e-commerce is a subset of e-business. Okay, but e-business includes anything you do online. Okay. Any other question? Okay, thank you. Again, I'll come back in the afternoon, talk about some of the tutorials.